It was a calm afternoon when I got back from college. Stepping through the front door, a place filled with memories from growing up, I immediately sensed a change. The house felt quieter than usual, but oddly warmer too. Ryan, my stepbrother, greeted me with a casual smile. He looked taller, more mature. "Hey," he said, casually tossing a soccer ball between his hands. "Hey," I responded, surprised by how different he seemed. Our parents had left that morning for a weekend getaway, leaving the house to just the two of us. Ryan and I had never been particularly close. Being 3 years older meant we lived in separate worlds. But that day, something felt different. As I unpacked, he knocked on my door. "Want to order pizza later?" "Sure," I said. Later, we sat in the living room eating slices and flipping through TV channels. The conversation came easier than expected. We laughed over old memories, like the time we made a fort out of bedsheets and got scolded for knocking over a lamp. "You were such a troublemaker," I teased. "You were bossy," he shot back with a grin. It felt natural, like no time had passed. That evening, I found him doing dishes. "I got it," I offered, stepping in. "Nah, you're the guest now," he joked, but I grabbed a towel anyway. As we cleaned, he talked about wanting to be an engineer, designing things that could make a difference. His passion caught me off guard. "I never knew you were so ambitious," I said. He shrugged. "Guess you were always too busy to notice." His words stung. Not in a harsh way, more like a quiet truth I hadn't faced. Maybe I hadn't really paid attention to how much he'd grown. The next morning, I found him outside working on his car, grease on his hands, sleeves rolled up. He was focused and confident. I watched from the window, surprised. "You just gonna stare or help?" he called out. I laughed and joined him. For an hour, he explained how the engine worked. I barely understood any of it, but admired his patience. That evening, a storm knocked out the power. We lit candles and played cards. The soft candlelight, the rain on the windows, it felt peaceful. "I'm glad you're here," he said. "Me, too," I replied. For the first time, I saw Ryan not just as my stepbrother, but as someone I genuinely liked, someone who listened, who cared, who had quietly grown into someone I respected. Later, over dinner, I asked, "Since when do you cook?" "Since someone had to," he shrugged. "Figured I'd learn." As we ate, our conversation felt deeper. Ryan asked about my future plans now that I'd graduated. I admitted I wasn't sure. So much time had gone into earning my degree that I hadn't thought much beyond it. "You'll figure it out," he said with confidence. "You always do." His belief in me was steady and somehow more reassuring than anything I'd heard in a long time. That afternoon, we did some chores together. Ryan insisted on doing most of it, but I stayed close. We found a comfortable rhythm. At one point, we ended up talking about relationships. "You still with that guy?" he asked, treading carefully. "No," I said. "Didn't work out." He didn't press, just nodded. "His loss," he said. For some reason, that meant more than any long-winded advice would have. That night, we watched an old action movie, one our dad used to love. I caught Ryan glancing at me a few times, like he was deep in thought. When the credits rolled, he spoke. "I remember when you left for college," he said. "I thought you'd forget about me." I looked at him, surprised. "You were always busy," he continued. "Friends, classes. I figured we'd just drift." Guilt hit me. I hadn't realized how disconnected we'd become. "I didn't forget," I said. "I just didn't know how to stay close." He smiled slightly. "Well, you're here now." That night, I found a note on my desk. "Glad you're home, Ryan," I smiled, folding it up carefully. For the first time in a while, I felt like I truly belonged, not just in the house, but in his life. The next day felt off. Ryan seemed withdrawn, quiet during breakfast. By afternoon, I found him sitting outside, phone in hand, staring at the screen. "You okay?" I asked. He hesitated, then said, "Just some school stuff, nothing big." But I could tell it wasn't nothing. Eventually, he admitted he'd missed a major deadline. His scholarship was on the line. "I screwed up," he said. "I tried to fix it, but I can't." "You're overwhelmed," I said gently. "I can't fix it," he snapped, frustration boiling over. I didn't push. Instead, I opened my laptop that night and started working. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Helping," I said. "If you're going to quit, at least let me try first." He didn't argue. He sat down, and we worked together for hours. Fixing, editing, rewriting. Soon, he was taking the lead, explaining things to me. When we finished, his whole mood changed lighter, more hopeful. I couldn't have done this without you, he said. You did most of it, I replied. Yeah, but you didn't let me give up. That night, I thought about how far he'd come. The restless kid I remembered had become someone who kept trying, even when it got hard. The next morning, he was nervous. You'll figure it out, I said. He smiled. Yeah, I think I will. A few days later, his project was accepted. He tried to act cool about it, but I saw the relief in his eyes. I owe you, he said. No, you don't, I told him. You just needed someone to remind you of what you're capable of. Everything felt easy again, like we'd settled into something real. But the next morning, he went quiet again. Barely spoke at breakfast. Later, I overheard him on the phone. It's complicated, he said. He wouldn't say what it meant, but I had a feeling it involved me. That night, while watching TV, I turned to him. Did I do something wrong? Caught off guard, he said. No, I just didn't expect this. Expect what? This, he said, gesturing vaguely between us. Getting along. Talking. I didn't either, I admitted. But I'm glad we did. You're leaving soon, right? He asked. Yeah, in a few days. I know we didn't always get along, I said. But I'm proud of you. He looked surprised. Really? Really? I nodded. You've changed. In the best way. He paused, then smiled, soft and sincere. I'm proud of you too. You think you don't have it together, but you do. More than you know. When it was time for me to leave, Ryan walked me to my car. He shifted awkwardly, like he wanted to say more. You'll be okay, I said. You too, he replied. Then he hugged me quick, uncertain. Don't wait so long to visit next time, he muttered. I won't, I promised. Driving away, I realized something had changed between us. We hadn't just reconnected, we'd built something new, stronger, lasting, and wherever life took us, that bond would still be there.